I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
It's high noon up and down the Wasatch Front, and Scotty and the coach are just getting started.
BYU and Utah State announcing a two-game series. Game 1, Utah State, BYU, December 9th in the Marriott Center. Game 2, Logan, right? No, just a little south in the Delta Center. BYU gets out of the trip to Logan, and they will go to the Delta Center instead.
The positive side, I love when these two teams play.
I do too.
This thing has changed a bunch. What it was when I got to BYU was 1 year in Provo, 1 year in Logan.
Yep.
And you just alternate. The crazy thing is Dave proposes Provo,
Yep.
Logan, and then the third in Delta Center. And, thought that would be a good thing for everybody, and learned very quickly, no, that was not a good thing. And actually, he had people would come up to him in the grocery store from Logan and say, that's really awful what you did to the Aggies.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, man. I can imagine that this will not land well.
What's wrong with my chicken?
This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb, and joining us as he does every week throughout the NBA season, into the playoffs, and even into free agency as well. Kurt Helin from NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com, honorary third member of this show. Kurt, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm honored to be honorary.
Yes.
I feel like I'm getting a degree from Harvard.
Yeah, it's like there was a former football player that came back and gave the commencement speech at Utah State, and he goes, "Well, I guess everybody calls me doctor now because that's what they've given me." And he's like, "Yeah, kind of."
It's technically a doctor.
Yes. Hey, how impressed? Look, everybody likes to throw the NBA current athlete under the bus, say they're soft. And our generation, we grew up in the 80s and 90s and watched, the Bad Boys and watched the Jordan Rules, and everybody rough each other up, and everybody played through pain. And now we're like, oh, where's that player now? Well, it might be Anthony Edwards, because I'm sure there were a lot of doctors telling him not to go. His agent probably told him not to go, but he went, played well, and it was a big win last night for Minnesota.
Yeah, he was able to get medically cleared, so it was good enough that he could manage the pain enough to be out there. A bone bruise, in some ways that's, it's not that there's other structural stuff in there, but it's somewhat about pain management. He just being out there, 18 points, second most on the team, but his boost emotionally, but also their pick and roll just looks better when he runs it, right? There's certain things that just look much smoother when he's the guy doing it. And he sparked them that's a defensive battle. Those are two really good defensive teams. Points are going to be hard to come by. And if you've got the guy who can make it easier for you, that's just a huge plus.
We were talking earlier about the Knicks. Do you feel like the Knicks are pretty much have a clear path right now to the finals out of the East?
I think the winner of that series does. You've watched it, Coach. Detroit and Cleveland don't seem to be on the same level right now, right? And Cleveland has the talent, but I'm actually going to need to see it function.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Before I fully buy in. So I think whoever comes out of that, I think you're going to get a much better Philadelphia team. They look gassed by the first quarter. Just the Game 7 hangover played 2 days later. The whole thing was kind of, and he noted on the broadcast last night, Embiid's now played 5 straight games, and he hasn't played 6 straight games since 2023.
Wow.
So physically, he's still trying to catch up. And it's every other day. I think there's 1-2 day break late in the series potentially, but they're going to have to find a way to get their legs under them and perform better. I think you'll get a better game out of them in Game 2, but man, the Knicks are rolling. And again, Coach, I'd love to get your thoughts. I love that they finally started playing through Karl Anthony Towns as a hub, kind of in a high post, and they're cutting off of him, and he's making passes. He can score, obviously. He's a great shooter, but they're using him as a hub as opposed to all the isolation stuff, and they just look so much better.
Yeah, well, that's where he really thrives. I think is, he's not a guy who's going to back you down. He doesn't necessarily love physicality, although he has gotten tougher, I feel, in his time with the Knicks. But you're exactly right. You put him in the center of the floor where there is no designated help side, and you send cutters through his ability to pass the ball. And then he's become really great, with handoffs and that sort of thing. That's a new iteration of the game the last, 5 or 6 years, playing off those so much. So I'm with you. I think he in space and facing the basket is where he does his best work.
Yeah, it only took them like 86 games to get there, but they kind of got it.
They should have watched some of that Timberwolves film. It was all out there for them.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you anticipate the Western Conference and seeing how that thing is playing out right now, Minnesota is just, they're just playing tougher than everybody else.
Yeah.
And then you've got San Antonio with a elite performance defensively from Wemby, but offensively, Rudy gets into him a little bit. You got Julius Randle causing him some problems as well. How concerned are you on the offensive side if you're San Antonio against the Timberwolves?
A little bit. I mean, first off, the Randall kind of slightly smaller but really physical guys have long given Wemby challenges. Like that's the guy he hasn't necessarily completely figured out yet. At 22, we should write him off, I guess. But like they did a good job, but he was also 0 of 8 from 3 and had some good looks. De'Aaron Fox shot terribly. The physicality kind of messed with them a little bit, but I think this is the experience learning thing, right? Like Minnesota has been to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. This is a battle-tested team who came out and was ready to go at a playoff level, especially with Edwards back. And the Spurs are going to have to learn how to get there. Dylan Harper looked great off the bench. That guy is – I could not be a bigger Dylan Harper fan. But I think they learn over the series. I've got to say, I picked the Spurs in 7 if Edwards was back. I did a dual prediction because I think it's a really even series. So that's going to be interesting. And then on the flip side, Oklahoma City, I don't want to say they get to coast through, but they are going to be a little more comfortable on their side.
You mentioned the Cavs and the Pistons. I watched the Cavs game 7, and I was actually a little bit in shock at how casual they had approached the game 7 early, but they were able to kind of flip it. Do you feel like the Pistons can just kind of overpower the Cavaliers with their physicality, and that will be enough in this series?
Yeah, I think they're going to need a big series from like Jared Allen and Mobley, right? Like they're going to need that inside presence as well, and not too many disastrous Harden games. But I still think the problem with Detroit's as constructed is what we kind of knew, right? That it's a one-man show. It is a one-man show, and if it's just that, it's like Giannis before they kind of broke through the year they had Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton playing like an Olympian and all that. Like if it's just one guy, I can make life really difficult for you, and Detroit's got to find that second guy consistently.
So you blow a 3-1 advantage and you get fired if you're the head coach of Orlando. You look at what Billy Donovan's been up to and what he's turned down and then what he's walked away from. It's hard not to think that this might, especially if he gets the job, that the wheels were in motion long before they blew that 3-1 deficit.
It would not be shocking. I mean, there's no tampering in the NBA.
No,
obviously,
no.
None, zero. But,
no, especially in Portland. But yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. But there is some logic there, and Donovan it's the name everybody's been putting up. He got a lot out of. He goes back to Florida and actually keeps the job this time in Orlando. Because remember, in 2007, he took the job, did the press conference, did the whole thing, and like 6 days later, it's like, yeah, I want to go back to Florida. I'm out. And walked away. He gets a lot out of his guys. His teams tend to defend. He wanted to be in a situation where he was coaching in meaningful games again, and Orlando is certainly that. So I think from the outside, for me, that just seems like the best choice if you're going to do what it appears they're going to do, which is keep Banchero, keep Wagner, keep the core of this team together, and run it back.
Draft lottery is looming.
Yes.
And we don't love to talk about that around here. We We tried to, dish it up with karma and do all the right stuff, but I think not ignoring it, but just, can't downplay it either. But we're just not going to give it a ton of attention. You got to think the math's got a math for the Jazz at some point, don't you?
You would think so. You would hope so. They deserve it. I will also Zach Harper over at The Athletic has been running a thing this week where every day he's going to Tankathon, which is the best place to find all your lottery odds. And they have a, randomizer that essentially uses the odds and just runs the lottery once. So he's just doing it once every day and saying what he got. Dallas won today, by the way.
Boy, that
really well.
You know what? The way that the NHL has taken off in popularity here and the Jazz are struggling. If Dallas wins the lottery and the Jazz are down at 7-8,
it would be
there might be a lot of fans checking out at that point.
We'll see. That one year, one of the two Utah fell to 5 or 6, maybe. I forget off the top of my head. And one of them they think they came in fourth, third or fourth. But it's when you flatten the odds, as they've done and are about to do again, you invite the randomness and you open the door for the longer odds to jump through. I'm hoping. I really want to see Utah at the top because I also think that Utah and frankly Washington's sort of in the same boat. They've done a really good job of setting up what's next. If just a little lottery luck, and suddenly you are in a very, very good position.
Kurt Helin joining us, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. Just what kind of ramifications and just how shocking was that Boston loss, blowing that 3-1 lead?
I was pretty stunned, and they didn't have Tatum in the game 7, but I expected them to be much better, and they got exposed by a physical team, right? They got pushed around a little bit. They just didn't have an answer for Embiid and Keita, who was good all season. Frankly, looks like a solid NBA starting / rotation center. Looks just good. But Joel Embiid, when he's playing like that, is not good. And they didn't really have an answer. They didn't have the depth. And the other thing is, I think there's something to the argument that Joe Mazzulla's heavy 3-point style can get a team in trouble in a playoff series if they get a little cold, which is what happened here. And not having Tatum, who was the guy who would just, even more than Brown, can just get downhill and get into the, hey, all right, that's not working. Let's just get some buckets at the basket and kind of changes that dynamic. Not having him hurt them, but to use an old Chick Hearn Laker line, they couldn't throw a pea in the ocean. They couldn't make a bucket for the life of them from 3. And if you're taking 49 of them, you better make a lot of them, man.
Do we need to add Minnesota to a list of? All year long I've said that they're not contenders, but they're playing like it. And I do believe whoever comes out of the West is going to win this thing. But it looks like, certainly the Spurs and the Thunder have had great battles. But, man, the Spurs have got to get through the Wolves. And the Wolves would like another crack at the Thunder, I'm sure.
I'm sure they would. And the thing with Minnesota, when you watched them this season, they looked bored or just disinterested in the regular season for 80% of those games. There were games during the regular season that you would get at a couple points. I saw it in person once when the Lakers were kind of rolling. They're like, all right, let's get this serious. And when they showed up and were serious, you're like, oh, there's that team. There's Naz Reid off the bench, and everything that works for them looks so good. And then they just kind of they were just coasting a little bit. And boy, they haven't been coasting now, and they look like the team they're supposed to look like. And it's impressive. And I think they have like I said, I thought I had the Spurs in 7, which means I think this is a really tight series. There's a decent chance they move on and get their crack at the Thunder. And I don't know that goes as well as they'd hope, but they could get their crack at them, and they're playing well.
Well, we saw that group twice this year. The Jazz lost to the Timberwolves 147-111 on March 18th. And then in the in-season tournament, 137-97. So, we saw that locked-in group twice.
Yeah, when they're locked in, look, they made the Western Conference Finals back-to-back years for a reason, and they have that matchup versatility. They're big and they're physical, but with Edwards especially when he's healthy, but with McDaniels, I mean, McDaniels is as good a perimeter defender as there is in the league. They can throw a lot of different things at you.
So, Kurt, if you're running that Nuggets organization, is it do you tear it down and rebuild with Jokic, or how do you handle a situation that seems like it's gotten away from him?
Oh, I trade Jokic and just blow no.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to be banned from Dell. I think you keep Murray personally, but with all due respect to Aaron Gordon at this point, like, you're going to have to find another shot creator on the wing or something else. You've got, man, look, the Murray Jokic fastball is fantastic, but you got to have an off-speed pitch, right? You can't just throw the fastball every time up. And there just didn't seem to be enough diversity. They really miss Aaron Gordon when he's not out there and at like 100% because he's so much glue for them. And then look, if they when they re-sign Peyton Watson as they should,
yeah.
Now they're into the second apron. Like, this is a really expensive team right now. And that's not an ownership group that's into that. So they've got some real work to do to find a way to improve that roster while they weren't in the tax this year. They might go into it next year, but they're not going to spend a ton. And you're going to have to find a way I think they're going to try to trade Christian Brown. I think that you're going to see them try to make some bold moves. And I'm not sure, like, the Jamal Murray thing is out there. I think it would take a pretty spectacular deal to make that happen.
Kurt Helin joining us, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. When you look at the games coming up, and you've got the Lakers and Thunder coming up, Lakers, obviously, nice round one victory. How much of a series do they make against the Thunder here?
Get your bets in early.
Gentleman sweep.
That's what I predicted. If you told me it was a sweep, I wouldn't be shocked. Look, I saw them play each other twice in person, and there's just a distinct talent gap. Like, it's not close. There is a real level of talent gap. The only thing that I think could get them a couple of games would be Luka Doncic, and he's, by all accounts, not close yet. He's not running much on the court. Like, he's not doing any kind of on-court work that implies he's close to a return from a hamstring. And I'm not sure they're going to be around long enough with the plethora. That's a great word.
Nice.
With the plethora of
Yes.
defenders that the Thunder can throw at you, because it's Cason Wallace and Dort start, and they bring Caruso off the bench. And if you get past them, by the way, you've got to run into Holmgren in the middle blocking shots. Like, they're just so good defensively, so deep, and so disciplined as a team that it's just, I don't know how the Lakers are going to score enough to make this a series.
Do you like the hire Dallas made a general manager? Seems like they've got an adult in the room now.
Yeah, exactly. And somebody that I think ownership there is getting smarter, and that they've made a couple of big smart hires lately, and that's there's a learning curve from owners about not being isolated and not listening to one voice, because you make kind of foolish mistakes.
If that voice is Adam Silver making you do it, but no. Sorry, did I say that out loud? My bad.
So the bad part out loud.
Yeah.
Exactly. But they, I think that they've gotten better about this. Also, it's a pure sign for the Mavs fans out there. No, they're not selling. Look, the Adelmans are hanging on to this thing because whatever the next develop. Look, this is a real estate deal for them long term, but they'll wait out the one they want. So, like, this isn't going anywhere. And you bring Masai Ujiri, a really smart GM, look, they've got Cooper Flagg. You've got a really good coach. You've got in Jason Kidd, you've got some nice role players. Like, you've got something to start building around. You get a lottery pick wherever it falls this year, and you start to move forward. You trade Anthony Davis. You've traded Anthony Davis. You start to move forward in a way that look, you see what it looks like next year. You've got Kyrie Irving, and you can decide between the two of you guys what you want to do with him. But, like, they're in position to be really good in a few years because they've got the hardest piece to get. They've got.
Well, Kurt, we appreciate it as always, man. You're the best. Thanks for hanging out with us, and let's do it again next week.
I'll see if I can squeeze it in.
All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Same time, my guy.
Take care, guys.
There he is. Kurt Helin, one of our favorites right here on The Zone.
Would you say I have a
Plethora.
of piñatas? A what?
Plethora.
A plethora. Oh, yes. You have a plethora.
I do not think you know what that word means.
Yes, I have a plethora.
Oh, I need to watch that. It's been too long.
That's what I gave Alex some homework. I said, you need to watch Three Amigos.
He hasn't
That
seen
is
Oh,
amazing.
of course he hasn't.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Have you?
I've seen Dusty Keys. No. What's his name?
Dusty Bottoms?
Dusty Bottoms.
You talking about Rusty Keys?
I
the
know.
Chiefs
I was
fan?
just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Dusty Bottoms and
Yeah.
Yeah, I only remember
Ned.
Dusty Bottoms.
Ned Flanders.
Needle Nose Ned. Well, that's a crossover of movies right there. All right.
I got it. It's Lucky Day, Dusty Bottoms, and Ned Niederlander.
Ned Niederlander.
Good poll. I thought you were going Groundhog Day on me.
No.
No, I knew one of them was Ned.
No.
And I forgot the other.
I knew the guy's name was Ned. I just couldn't remember, but it was Niederlander. That made it even more funny.
Yeah. All right, 12:25. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up in about 30 minutes. The great Thurl Bailey will classy up this joint. We need him to come in and save us from ourselves. It's all right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Coach Tim LaComb. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. Hope you're all having a great day today. I know I am. By the way, sorry, Lloyd, my dock just closed on me. But we're giving away tickets.
That good old dock that closes sometimes.
It does.
I know. I didn't say anything about it.
And I'm not saying it's the dock's fault. It's my fault. I just, yeah. So, because Lloyd's like, you have to read this right now. And I'm like, okay. And then I was going to, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose.
It's like, oh, hey, I got this email's in my drafts. Thought I sent it. Sorry. I could have swore I sent this.
I missed this. I missed that text.
Oh, I went to type send, and actually, I typed this out, and somebody called me. Sorry.
Yeah,
I thought I sent it.
I thought I hit send. Anyway, but you know what? While you waited, I've got you taken care of. Caller number 12 right now. I will give you 4 tickets. Not front row. I'm going to put you in a suite. That's how good these tickets are. 4 tickets to a suite at the Utah Royals versus Houston. Wednesday, May 6th, that is tomorrow, 8 p.m., America First Field. If you want the suite experience, call 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. And you, my friend, will get those suite tickets. Not just suite tickets, but
like
actually
sweet
in
tickets.
a suite. Sweet tickets.
Painless.
Yes. All right. Is our guy there by chance? He is. You know what? So I all this this storm is brewing on Twitter. Everybody's mad. Utah State fans are mad. BYU fans are mad about something. I don't know. Everybody gets mad on Twitter these days. And I see our guy JT. He's in the middle of it because it's Twitter, and JT always gets in the middle of things on Twitter, which is why he's a must follow. And I love that guy to death. And I said, hey, Coach, I bet JT will join us this next segment. And you called him up, and sure enough, joining us now, the great Jonathan Tavernari. How are you, JT?
Anything and everything for the guy sitting next to you, Scotty. He
caramba.
knows it. He knows it. His wife knows it. His children know it. And anything and every time he calls, I will absolutely answer.
Would you answer my calls if I were to call out of the blue?
I mean,
Debatable.
Is there a head-made pen that comes with that, Scotty?
He brings up that pen. I will get you. You know what? My boy and I have been back in the shop knocking them out some. So you will have some by the next 2 weeks. I will make sure you have a beautiful handmade pen.
I'm holding you to that now.
No, I will.
And while you're making him one, I need one.
Yeah.
Get over that lathe. Right? It's a lathe.
This is not going how you expect it, Scotty.
No, that's all right though. I got to make up for lost time. All right, so Utah State, BYU playing not a game in Logan, but a game in Provo next year, then in the Delta Center. Your first thoughts when you saw that as a guy that's been a big part of this rivalry?
Yeah, so first things first, super excited, right? Nothing but great respect for Utah State. Their program, coming from the university and the support of the fans, with so many coaching changes in the last few years, nevertheless, they're still delivering. And I think that's a testament to their fans and to the environment that they've created, the expectations that they have set in Logan, right? And so excited for that. The second is, in this day and age, and Timmy, I just don't remember a ton of this from our time at BYU, mainly because you guys would just tell us, hey, go win a game and stop worrying about everything else, and nothing else will matter if we win games. But I feel like in the last 10 years, 15 years, the whole thing of quad 1 win, quad 2 win, and net rankings, and this type of stuff, I feel like that has taken on a life of itself that, in all honesty, I didn't have to deal with. And so when BYU looked, and again, I'm speaking from just conversations that I've had with folks around the BYU program, when BYU looks at playing a game at Utah State, is there just as much of a value to them for on the metrics as there is let's go play a game at Madison Square Garden, or let's go play a game at an NBA arena at in Oklahoma City. And so I just don't know, in the day and age of today, in the metrics and the way that you use things for recruiting, if a game in Logan is as valuable as a game as an NBA arena. And so as a BYU guy, I appreciate that they're taking a look at that, because at the end of the day, the metrics are important today. But, as someone that loves the state of Utah, someone that, got his ass kicked in Logan, and someone that, very much, I talk a lot of trash to Utah State because I was 2-1 against them, but the spanking I got in Logan, I remember. And, the whole winning team, losing team, and right, left. When I found out, I respect those guys. And, I think it's a great university. And so kind of a bittersweet, right? Because you would wish you had a home and home, but happy that the game is going to be played nonetheless.
Was that the game we started Zylstra at the point?
No, Brock didn't play a ton that game. This is the game that we went in and nothing was working. Ty Wesley was a junior. They had a couple of other guys there, and I think I shot like 1 for 12 or something like that. And Jimmer didn't have a good game. Neither did Jackson. We were trying to figure out with Tyler coming off the bench, and they just played well, and they had a good team, and they went to the NCAA tournament that year. So it's not like we waltzed in there, playing a bunch of scrubs. They were good that year.
What are you? That's one memory, but like what stands out to you when we used to go up there? The game environment, anything, where we stayed, any of that stuff that may be fun to tell.
Yeah, so I will say this,
and legal, legal.
Okay, so I won't mention that half of the stuff I was going to do it. So, okay. So just a great college environment. You know what I mean? As soon as you pull up, you pulled up with the bus, fans were lining up. The way that the arena very much reminded me of the pit, right? The way that it was just kind of going down a little bit is an incredible vibe. The student section, incredible. They were very organized. Whatever was the guy that used to be dressed with a tongue and
Wild
his
Bill.
belly
Wild
out.
Bill, yeah.
Wild Bill and the curtain, right? And it was the beginning of the year, and it was a big game for us, a big game for them. Because of everything we did over their summers, Timmy, and you remember how I used to organize pickup, became really close with Ty Wesley. Tyler Newbold, which is someone that we recruited at BYU, but ultimately ended up at Utah State, is a very dear, close friend of mine. And so just a lot of fun memories, but probably my favorite memory was the game that we had at Energy Solutions my junior year. And, it was a big game. We were ranked 24th in the country. We needed a win to stay in the top 25. I ended up having a really good game. Had to make a few free throws in a row in the end of the game to seal the deal. And that was also the last weekend that I never knew my wife, because on Monday I met my wife after that game. On Tuesday, we had our first date. Wednesday, the first kiss. Thursday, our second date. And Friday, I asked Kiri to marry me. So the game at Energy Solutions was the last time that I was a single man.
All right. Wait. Okay. All right.
That was a little too much at the end.
No.
Thanks.
All right. No. So Monday, you met. Wednesday, first kiss. Friday, second date. And then you proposed on the 6 days after meeting?
Right out there on the side of the court by the old pit.
Yeah. So I met her on Monday. Tuesday, we had our first date. Wednesday, we had our first kiss. Thursday, we had our second date. And then Friday, I asked her to marry me. So,
5 days. Okay. All right.
Yes. Yep.
Wow. And she said yes.
And we've been together ever since. And the LaCombs have been front row for every single part of it.
So when JT comes, he's like, "Hey, coach."
I saw that happen.
Yeah, like this was right in front of you.
Yeah, I saw him get down on a knee. Yeah, and I was like, didn't he just meet her? All right. I mean, hey, dude, he was always ready to shoot the shot.
Yeah,
right?
that's the thing.
You see an open shot, you understand what, he knew who she was because she is fantastic. So he got lucky in that regard.
Hey, now we got Coach here. Give us keep him FCC approved here, but what are your favorite Coach stories?
Oh, no.
My first one of it all is I didn't know who he was. There's two stories that I'll tell you. The first one is I didn't know who he was, and I remember afterwards, but my freshman year, he was still with the staff at the U, and he was talking to Walter Ruiz, who is the coach that helped me come to America, right? And I remember just going to half court and just kind of getting a backhanded compliment of like, hey, you're kind of a little weird when you were at Timview, but you just got done killing us. You're a great player. And I was like, do I take him or tell him to go to hell? Like I didn't know where to go with this. And so that was another one. That was the first that I was like, wait, I remember this guy. But the second one was, I've always loved kids, like I moved to America when I was 16. I was a big kid inside, and and Timmy had just been hired, and we knew he was hired, but we didn't know when he was starting. And I'm at the BYU basketball camp, and I am literally I'm probably playing with about 15 kids. We're playing 1-on-14, 101, right? And it's before camp started. And I had done a workout, at 6 a.m. and I always did those. And Timmy was a big part of that. And he shows up with, breakfast and with a Powerade. He's like, hey, JT, just wanted to say hello. Today's my first day. And I'm like, that really stood out for me as someone that always cared. And I grew close to him, his wife, Rachel, his kids. And, I went to plays and performances that his kids did. And,
oh, that's cool.
Salt of the earth, and he takes my call every time. And, I've been able to ask him questions and guidance on a lot of things. And, I know you miss your buddy, and, Hans was a great part of my time in Europe, and I listened to him all the time when I was there. That, Scotty, but, I couldn't have picked or prayed or designed a better guy to be next to you than Tim LaComb, because no one is as connected, knows as much about, Utah sports than that guy. And so what a great pickup you had.
Hans.
Lloyd, knock it off.
Hey, JT, I think you're the man. And just a little color to one of those stories, I was new there, and my kids just absolutely loved JT because he was always so nice to them, and would, have Sam come over and shoot with them, and was fun with my daughter. And so she had a play. She was probably like 5th grade or something. And, I guess one way or another he heard about it. So we get to the play, and I turned to my right, and JT's standing there looking for us. He drove all the way over from Provo to be there for my daughter. And that was just the type of guy, that we were dealing with. Yes, he's crazy with sometimes when he's with the stuff he says. But I have been too, and I laugh because I remember he irritated me at Timpview because he was so arrogant. Like, man, if that guy would just put the time into being a guy, And then, my compliment to him was he put the time in to be a guy, and he did. He came up to the U and hit a bunch of threes and ended a big, long streak of Utah beating BYU up there.
Jonathan Tavernari joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. JT, always appreciate you. You know that you have an open invitation to join the show anytime you want, and we would let's not make this a one-time thing. Make sure we get you on the reg, okay?
Hey, absolutely. And as always, you guys are killing it. The show is great lineup. And whenever you guys need me, just have Chimi FaceTime me or call me, because he's on my favorites. Do not disturb comes through.
Okay, you followed the script perfectly. You'll be getting the money. Thanks for taking part in this today.
The pen will be on your way. I
Thanks
promise.
for saying all the right things. I love you, kid.
Appreciate you. Love you, Timmy. Bye-bye.
There he is, Jonathan Tavernari. Good dude.
He's such a great dude. Like with everybody, he's got the parts. There were parts where I had to say, stop. Coach put him on just about every restriction you can. He put him on dribbling restriction. He was not allowed to dribble. You can ask the guys. He couldn't dribble because Coach is like, he'll either shoot it or pass it. So we eliminate one of the issues. And then the second one was he got talking, he got excited, and he would say stuff. And so Coach came in one day and he's like, JT, you're on media restriction. You can't talk to the media. And so to this day, every time I see him, I'm like, you off media restriction yet?
Oh, man.
But an absolute warrior competitor.
Oh, yeah.
Was a huge part of why we won so many games in that little stretch right there.
And you know what? You need that guy that is not afraid to take the shot.
Jaden McDaniel, right? A guy that will talk, too, a little bit. You need an edge, a little bit of an edge. All
right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up in about 20 minutes from now, the Big T, Thurl Bailey, joins us straight ahead right here on the Zone.
Right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. There you go. Hey, by the way, a sad note from the world of basketball. Former Jazzman who was with the Jazz for a couple years, Jose Ortiz, passed away today at the age of 62, was dealing with cancer and finally succumbed. Started his career at Oregon State, was the Pac-10 Player of the Year in 86-87. Jazz took him number 15th overall in the 1987 draft. He chose to play in Spain, finally came over to the Jazz in 88-89, played a couple of years in Utah, and then decided to return back to Europe. Played with Real Madrid and Barcelona, among others, but a lot of people remember him jumping back on the scene. Remember, he was on that Olympic team, he and Carlos Arroyo in 2004, the Puerto Rican team that beat Team USA in pool play in the Olympics, which did not go over very well, especially when Carlos Arroyo was a member of the Jazz at the time.
Yeah, a lot of changes made after that.
Yes. Right? Yep.
No, it's awful. It's tough news. And I remember when he was drafted, I remember him playing at Oregon State. We'll ask, we got Thurl coming up soon, so we'll talk to Thurl about that. It's actually how I learned the news today. But, anytime, remember your,
So, yeah, no, it's a tough story.
He's killing me. That stopped my heart. I was not seeing that one coming.
Given the story, I wasn't seeing it coming either. A little itchy trigger finger in there. So, Thurl Bailey's, I think it'll be good to hear Thurl's perspective on him, too. I think a guy that could have played a little bit longer in the NBA, but it's like, you know what? I'm going to go. I can make good money in Europe. I can make good money playing overseas, and decided to go that route instead, and was a hero in Puerto Rico. The guy is a legend in that country. Absolute legend.
And what's crazy is I think he may have fit today's game better. You know, he's more of a skilled guy that can kind of face up and do some things. It's sad, and blessings or prayers to the family and everybody involved. It's never easy to do that, and certainly a part of the Jazz family forever.
Yeah. All right, take a break. Coming up next, you will hear from the great Thurl Bailey straight ahead. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.